like in all other webinars, if there are any questions at any point of time, please feel free to type it out, and we'll be happy to take them as you go along. I'd like to thank Vijay for taking his time off, and he'll be taking us, helping me take you through the essentials of web copywriting. And if you guys have any questions about this category and what it entails and what's a good way to get started, etc., in this, he would be the right person to ask questions. So let's move ahead. So since copywriting along with visual design has been an important part of selling online, but of late things have changed, and these couple of slides really talk about how things have changed. So this is how things were in the web. You would have heard a lot of buzzwords, Web 2.0. So this is a pre-Web 2.0 kind of way in which content was created and consumed. So here it was fairly straightforward. The publisher was the guy who was creating the content, and the end user, which is you, was the one who was consuming the content. Things have changed dramatically the last 4 or 5 years, and you see how things are right now. The first big difference is that it's not necessary that the publisher, and by this I mean it could also mean the corporate. I'm not necessarily portals or blogs and newspaper sites. Anyone can publish, can create content today, and also after creating you can distribute it to your friends and other people. So this really results in a interconnected kind of a model, right? This is what has made copywriting complex, if I can use that word. And that's because earlier the copywriter was responsible for determining what message needs to be sent, and how a product needs to be represented, what is the picture that someone has when he sees a web page. But today that message is being delivered on many fronts, and in ways in which you can't control. So that's what is making copywriting very different from what was earlier. Yeah, so we just spoke about this. The businesses are no longer in control of their message. Yeah, so this is a we call this a myth, and we'll get into some slides which actually say why this is a myth. It's not necessary that if you've been into print copywriting for a long time, and that you can do online automatically. I'd just like to ask Vijay, do you see, first of all, do you see a lot of the print guys now getting into online, and is there overconfidence in this sense here?
Definitely more and more the creative team now has to think through the digital medium as well, and typically where agencies don't have a digital team separate, the same team that's working on the television and print also has to think through how the brand will interact online, and that's where they need to understand the specific unique aspects of the medium come into play, because this is an interactive medium. In television and in print, the consumer doesn't talk back to you or share your message and take it forward in so many different ways across the network. So people are now very serious about the digital medium, even in large agencies, and even mainstream print and television writers and creative people are investing their energies in understanding how to leverage this medium well.
Sure. So, so you do see a lot of print guys getting into online in terms of the copywriting talent nowadays?
Yes, a bit of both, I suppose. I mean, there are people in the print medium who are excited by the opportunities that digital offers. There have been people who are coming across and trying to understand what it means and how they could apply their basic writing skills to this new medium.
Right. So let's just see how things are different. The first point is, of course, this is not to say that in print you cannot be authentic, but the necessity to be authentic is very is very high in online, because you can be caught in seconds. You would have no time to retract or take back something, and you need to apologize very quickly. We just today I was reading some news article about how the Leela hotel was kind of slightly embarrassed because it usually takes this position of being eco-friendly, and it didn't allow cyclists
Bangalore.
in Bangalore. And these guys actually went to Facebook, went to blogs. There's a very famous blog for bikers, a bikers forum or something, and they started putting messages there. And so it's a very good example of how being authentic is important. And this happened of late. I'm sure this would be kind of embarrassing for the management, and they'll have to do something about this. And so it's the whole thing is that you can be caught in seconds when it comes to online. And this is an important point. It's something which is very different from copywriting in print, which is that people read online copy differently. If you look at people who are searching on Google and who click on an ad, they are really looking for some information fast. It's not in a very leisurely frame of mind. So what they do is they don't read completely and leisurely. They read in parts. They scan, and it's very important for a web copywriter to really appreciate this. Yeah, and it's also being not only is it about being able to write in a manner which is which is scannable and can be read quite easily. It's also being about it's also about being able to write so that you can be found easily, which means a lot of the sites get found on on search engines. So basically the copywriters need to have and at the entry level it becomes quite important. They need to have skills which will help them to optimize the content of the web page. And in fact, in the the inquiries that we see a lot of copywriters also wanting to learn more and more about search engine optimization.
Kaushik, if you could ask the participants, what do you think? I mean, what are your questions as of now? I mean, what are your expectations out of the workshop? If you could just quickly type in any of the questions you have come in, which are there in your mind, with which you enrolled into the workshop, we could probably kind of answer some of them as we go along.
Yeah, so that's actually a good thought. And anyone, I mean, we usually do this at the end, but it would be great. Anyone has any specific things that you want to ask Vijay? Please feel free to type it out. Okay, so anyways, we'll continue. Please feel free to let us know if you have any clarifications or doubts. So yeah, we did speak about the fact that search engine optimization skills are very important for copywriters today. And what is also important is that and we are still referring to things which are different as compared to print here. Being brief is extremely important online. You do require a more compact style, and you have to say things in as short a manner as possible. This is some we thought this would be a good example of some guidelines when you're using words. So the point being made here is that if you have to write something for the web, you need to rewrite it a couple of times and see what is the best way, and what is the shortest way to put forth your message.
If I could add to that, Kaushik, it's very important to just picture one person who's reading your website content or emailer or online banner, and surfing the internet is an intimate experience. It's very one-to-one, and even going by the sites you like and you frequent, brands need to take a personal tone, no matter how large the company or how huge the global scale. When you're on the web, it's one brand talking to one consumer at a time. So you need to keep that in mind, and you have to, of course, follow the corporate brand guidelines as to what is the tone you need to pick up. But that tone for the web has to be more informal than what it generally would be in print or in other media.
Right. Yeah, and the audience is I didn't want to say that it's largely international. The point is that even if you cater to a domestic audience, there are times when your offering could be of interest to someone who's outside your target audience, and it's happening with us. We see every day for the Learning Catalyst site that we get inquiries from the US and UK, because the site is accessible to anyone, and these are guys, some of them could be ones who are would be coming to India for a couple of months. Some of them could very well be people who are based there and who are inquiring about whether this thing can be done over the web. So we also need to remember that because it's a website, there is a possibility that a lot of the international people also would frequent the site.
In this context, I'd like to add that it's important to understand where the audience is in terms of their mindset towards the product category. Are they coming to your site for the first level of information about the product, or have they been exposed to some bit of brand information already in mass media and then they're coming for more specific information? Are they coming from an emailer which is already kind of put out the value proposition and this is just to close the sale? You need to understand where they are at and then write your content, or design the entire experience for them along with the designer, keeping that in mind.
Right. Yeah, and